What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. Bitcoin continues its bear market. Altcoins continue the bear market. And I believe we are going a lot lower from where we are right now. We're at $82,000 per Bitcoin. And I still think we've got a hell of a lot lower to go before this dip is over. So smash the likes as you're tuning into the stream. I appreciate each and every single one of you being here live today on this Friday. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing day. Personally, I am. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to rub salt in the wound, but I am fully in stables right now, pretty much. I'll show you my portfolio in a moment. And I'm just waiting for my levels to get hit. It's that simple. Waiting for my levels to get hit. I sold as we lost the Gaussian channel and we lost the 50-week moving average on Bitcoin. I'm basically just holding cash until we hit the 200-week moving average. So smash the likes as you're joining in today, guys. Let's get up the screen. Let me pull up my screen here. Okay, so this is my current portfolio. For those of you interested, this is my current portfolio as of right now. I am 8% Bitcoin, 92% in stables. That is my current setup right now. The Bitcoin I have, I plan to hold for the next decade. The Bitcoin that I wanted to sell, I have indeed already sold this bull run. I was selling Bitcoin above 100K. I was getting a lot of criticism for that, selling Bitcoin 110, 120, around that region, and people were calling me insane. What I've realized, guys, is the more criticism you get, the more that people hate a decision that you make, the more likely that decision is to be correct. The most unpopular moves are the most likely to be correct moves in this market. That's how I see it. So we're going to go through some of the key levels. It's looking pretty bleak. We're going to keep resorting back to the Gaussian channel because as of right now, we have lost the center line of the Gaussian channel. We lost the upper line a long time ago now. That was my invalidation point. And it looks like we are on track to actually lose the lower band of the Gaussian channel. Maybe by the end of this weekly close. By the end of this week, we might have lost that. So it's looking absolutely terrible for the crypto market. Like I said, I think we're going a hell of a lot lower. But yeah, I think probably what's happened is that day in October when they liquidated the entire market and everyone lost everything, I think that truly damaged the crypto market. Not only did it damage internally the liquidity systems and the exchanges and the market makers, but I think it actually damaged the sentiment of cryptocurrency, the belief people had in it, because it could all be wiped away like that in seconds. So I think we've got a bit of an uphill path now. It's going to be difficult to get back. But I've got my levels, and I'm going to talk about my levels. So obviously, I believe we will lose the lower band of the Gaussian channel, as whenever we lose the upper band, we come out the other end. That's happened pretty much every single time. Okay, I'm going to show you all the examples of the weekly closes below at cycle tops. So you've got the cycle top here, came out the other end. You have another cycle top back in 2017. We closed below it here, came out the other end. And, you know, you have the same fallacy every single time. You have the same fallacy from people, right? People say this. Let's just say some newbie joined crypto and they bought the top up here, right? brand new to crypto, retail, exit liquidity. They bought the top up here at 20K, 19, 20K. You have the same people, the same things going on now as what happened back then. So you have people who bought the top, and then you lose the Gaussian channel, and then this is what they say. I'm in a loss. Why would I sell now? That's what they say. Why would I sell if I'm in a loss? That's the exact words that they say. They said that in 2018 when we lost the Gaussian channel. They had the chance to sell at 8.6K and buy back in at 3K. They wrote it down another 50% from there. Let's take a more recent example. People at 50K, 46, 50K, they were saying, I bought Bitcoin at 69K. I bought the top. Why am I going to sell? Why am I going to sell now when I bought it higher? That was their reason for not selling. Even though the signs were there, the TA was obvious. This fallacy was in their brain of, I bought higher, now it's lower, therefore I can't sell. The lowest IQ words I've ever heard in crypto. Probably the lowest IQ words I've ever heard in my life, actually. And there's a lot of low IQ people out there, but that phrase of, I'm down, therefore I shouldn't sell, is one of the dumbest phrases I've ever heard in my life. What, you're down 20%? Do you want to be down 80%? How about that? Does that feel better, being down 80%? Or will you take being down 20% and come back and buy lower, and you'll make those gains back within a week of the bull run? The first week of the bull run, you'll make those gains back. But no, you got this fallacy in your brain of, I can't sell in a loss. Never heard so much nonsense in my life. Last bull run, you could have sold Bitcoin at 46K on a weekly close in the Gaussian channel, and then you could have bought it back at 15. But people had this fallacy in their mind of, I'm down, therefore I can't sell. Same thing's happening right now. You have people who bought their alts, bought Bitcoin in the 120s. All right. They weren't buying down at the bear market lows like I was. They bought right at the top. And look, I was buying alts at the top as well. But the point is, I was already up a lot. So what I was putting in, I could afford to lose. But they just joined crypto here. And this is where they were deploying capital. And then by the time we got that close in the Gaussian channel, 94, 95K, whatever it was, by that point, they were like, no, I'm down. I'm down 20%. Why am I going to sell now? Well, look at them now. They're down even further. And they're going to be down a lot more, in my opinion. A hell of a lot more. I think alts are going to bleed out a hell of a lot more from now. And I'm going to get into the reasons as to why. But Bitcoin has structurally lost everything. It lost the golden pocket, macro golden pocket. It lost the bull market support band a while back. It lost the Gaussian channel. It lost the 50-week moving average. It lost the wedge structure we were in. Do you remember that wedge that looked super bullish? Remember that wedge? We lost that as well. We've now even lost a trend line stemming all the way back to 2015. Yet the bulls keep on moving the goalpost, and I'm sick of it. I mean, I don't care because I'm in cash, but it's really frustrating when YouTubers do it, okay? There's YouTubers out there who are saying, who were saying their validation point was the Gaussian channel, was the 50-week moving average. And now all of a sudden it's 74K, believe it or not. At one point their invalidation was 103K. Now it's 74. I bet you if we go below 74, they're going to move the goalpost again. They're going to have a new invalidation point. They keep on moving the goalpost, keep on making some miraculous brand new invalidation point when they could have just stuck to the Gaussian channel, which has been the #1 predictor of a bear market in cryptocurrency. Now, there's a few YouTubers out there who are actually being transparent, being honest, and telling you the risks of a loss of the 50-week moving average. One of them is Benjamin Cowen. Now, me and Benjamin Cowen, we've had some disagreements along the way, but he is spot on when he says that there is a big risk to Bitcoin holding it or, trading, being long when you've lost the 50-week moving average. He's spot on. Now, we had, maybe it was a semantics argument, but we had some disagreements in the past about what defines an alt season, whether it was an Ethereum season or an alt season. I just want to point out to everyone, because people still say we didn't have an alt season. There's an index called the Altseason Index, and I'm pretty sure Into the Cryptoverse has one of these themselves. This flashed multiple times this cycle, so we've had multiple alt seasons by definition this bull run. Multiple. They've just been shit alt seasons. They haven't been good ones. But we have had alt seasons. So for anyone saying we didn't have any alt season, that's wrong. We had multiple. They were just very bad ones. Nowhere in the alt season index does it say you have to 100x your money on everything. No. There's a calculation that is made as to what is an alt season. And we had one in March 2024 time. We had one then. All right. We had another one in December, January time. We had another one then. And then we had the third alt season in end of September. So we actually had 3 mini alt seasons this bull run. Very different to usual. Usually we have one mega banana zone. Everyone gets rich. Everyone's barber. Everyone's bus driver becomes millionaires. This cycle, we didn't have that. We had 3 tamed alt seasons. But to sit here and say we didn't have any alt season is actually factually wrong. And I still see people saying that nowadays. And I just want to clear that up. But Benjamin Cowan has been spot on with the thesis of losing the 50-week and then probably coming down to the 200-week. That is absolutely 100% correct. And me and him have had some disagreements on X in the past. But honestly, look, I think Ben Cowan is one of the best voices in this space. One of the best voices in the space. Most of the other YouTubers haven't got a clue. Genuinely haven't got a clue. But if we look at what's going on right now, you have the markets essentially pricing out a rate cut in December. Markets are pricing out a rate cut in December. As of right now, we have a 33% chance of a rate cut in December. 33% chance. The vast likelihood is that we have no rate cut in December. And I've been warning about this for the past few weeks. Powell said it in his last speech. It is far from a foregone conclusion that they cut rates in December. I think that was basically him telling the market we're not going to cut, but he had to say it in a diplomatic way. At first, I thought maybe Powell's saying that to bluff. But then I realized, yeah, maybe he's actually just saying that to prepare markets. Because if they don't cut in December, it's going to be devastating for liquidity. I mean, we already have constraints on liquidity, but if they don't cut in December, that's not good. That is not good at all. So Bitcoin is well into its bear market now, $82,000. Let's take a look at the shorter time frames. I don't like trading the short time frames personally. I think it's almost gambling unless you're an absolute pro trader. So I would really urge people not to try and trade the small time frames. We had a crazy amount of volume last night. I was thinking of trading. If I did trade last night, I did actually open a couple trades, but they both got stopped out. But if you've got to be careful when we've got this amount of volatility. You've got to be careful if you're scalping. But as of right now, I'm actually in a Bitcoin short in the copy trading, which is up. Let me just take a little look. I can't see. I've not got it open, but it's up significantly. I think it just got TP'd actually. Yeah, so I had my my TP set at the double bottom price. So I just got TP'd out of my position in profits. Nice. Very happy with that. So congrats to the people on the big bundle. Just got a nice little W there on my Bitcoin trade. We just got the position closed there. You know, when you just a quick lesson for people who aren't aware of this, when you have big wicks like this, typically you come down and you fill them. 8, 9 times out of 10, you come down and you fill them because this is a scam wick. This is a scam wick, and typically you come back down and you fill them, and that's exactly what I saw. So I opened a trade up here, closed it here. But I just urge people to be very careful shorting or longing on these very short time frames because we have a crazy amount of trading volume and you know manipulation right now. So just be very, very careful. So I'm glad I got out of that position there because there is a little chance we get some sort of a bounce here since we came and filled that wick. But man, if Bitcoin loses this level here again, we're going to go even further, guys. And I honestly think the next stop for Bitcoin is 74K, and I think we could actually hit that by the year end. I'm interested to see what the prediction markets are saying because at one point they were saying there's a strong chance of 100K this year. So let me see. Crypto. What price will Bitcoin hit by the end of the year? That's the one we want. This one's by November. What price will Bitcoin hit? Man, how do we get this? There was one for Bitcoin by the end of the year. Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. Why don't I see it? It was given a high chance of 100K. Oh, here we go. 2025. There we go. Man, this is crazy. It's weird. It doesn't make sense, some of this stuff. It really is weird. So it's still giving a 35% chance of 100K this year, which I think is crazy. I give it like a 10% chance this year, 100K. 35% chance of 100K by the end of this year. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think we're more likely to hit 70K than we are 100K. Much more likely. But if we look at this one's crazy. This is the one that I really find pretty surprising, actually. Polymarket gives Bitcoin almost a 50-50 chance of 150K next year. I'll say that again. Polymarket gives Bitcoin almost a 50-50 chance of hitting 150K next year. 40% it's giving it. So there's something in this. We've got to read into this a little bit. All right. 2026 is going to be an interesting year for many reasons. You've got potential QE. You've got the big, beautiful bill, which is going to be stimulative. You've got stimulus check handouts, Trump has promised, $2,000, which is going to be stimulative. You've got a new Fed chair, so no more Jerome, which could potentially be very stimulative. There's a lot of stuff interestingly pointing to a rally some point in 2026. Might be mid 2026, might be late 2026, but I don't know if we're going to have a completely conventional bear market. I think there might be some upsets. Alif, I had a Bitcoin short position open, which I just closed in profits. It is going a bit lower than my TP, but you know, sometimes that happens. It's not about time in the tops and the bottoms. It's about making money in the middle. So I opened a short on Bitcoin and my TP was on this white line. So my TP got hit. But I think it's risky to be opening big shorts on Bitcoin now. We're going to see a relief rally at some point, but we might get to 74K first before we see the relief rally, the way it's looking. But yeah, there's something pointing towards a rally in 2026, towards late 2026. There's something pointing towards that. And I just mentioned a few potential catalysts, but I guess only time's going to tell. But either way, I think we're going down before we go higher. Ben Shaw with a $2 donation. Do I think this is a correction to shake people out? I think this is a bear market, plain and simple. I don't think this is the last rally before Valhalla or anything like that. I think this is a bear market, plain and simple. And it's pretty obvious for me that this is a bear market. Anyone saying otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. 81.8 for Bitcoin now. Let the games commence. It's such a nice feeling being in cash when there's when there's capitulation. Game is just beginning. Yeah, I think this is just a start. This is going to get a whole lot worse. If you look at the 200-week moving average, that's currently sat around 55K, I think it is. So I think we're coming down to that at some point early next year. The way it's looking, it could even be this year. The way it's looking, I mean, I don't think that will happen. But why did I just put 55 in there? Because it's at 55K. Do you ever do that? You're thinking of something in your head and then you write it down as you're speaking. So yeah, we got the 200 week around 56K. Typically in a bear market, Bitcoin drops below that. So it's pretty simple, guys. When you lose the 50-week moving average, you come down to the 200. Pretty simple. Don't overcomplicate things. People find all different reasons as to why you shouldn't follow TA. Trump's gonna do this. Powell's gonna do this. QE, QT, rate cut. Institutions, BlackRock aren't gonna sell. All this bullshit. People find any reason they can. Any bit of copium, any bit of hopium just to be bullish. And that's why I put on X earlier, never fade the freaking 50-week moving average. 2 rules for crypto. Number 1, survive. Number 2, never fade the 50-week SMA or the Gaussian channel. Never fade those. Never, ever. Appreciate that, Crypto Goat. Appreciate the kind words. The chart screams bear market, but the actual events in the future scream bull. They're in the future, though, right? They're pretty much next year, most of the good events. If you look short term, it's actually bearish in terms of short term events. The Fed probably aren't going to cut in December. That's bearish. So most of the stuff within the next month or so is quite bad. But if you look 6 months into the future, then yeah, it looks quite good. But I really encourage people, in a bear market, the worst thing you can do is go away. It really is the worst thing you can do. Because all the opportunities in the bear market, that's the time to actually be grinding. That's the time to be as active as ever, to be researching these projects, to be knowing what's going on, to be following the macro. Because if you can buy the bottom in the bear market, you will make 5 to 10x your money easily. easily because I did it. I bought the lows of Bitcoin at 15K. I bought most of my alts between 15 and 30K Bitcoin, and I made those gains in 2023, 2024. So it's all about getting in the bear market. And if you go on a big holiday, big hiatus, you're probably going to miss a lot of stuff that's going on. If I wasn't in your Discord group, I would have round tripped. I think a lot of people would. I saved a lot of people. Saved a lot of people with that sell alert. If you sell instead, whales will buy your bag. Buy now and hold. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, people said that at 95K. When we closed below the Gaussian channel, people said that. It's not happening, man. The whales are dumping too. The whales are getting out. The whales don't buy until there's actual blood on the streets, and we're not there yet. Thank you for your early call. You have saved my money. Thank you. Appreciate that. Glad to hear it. The same common arguments, you know, as to why you should hold. Don't sell now. You're just going to give your bag to the whales. Don't sell now. Trump's going to tweet and save us. All the same common arguments that just are pure hopium copium fallacies. I'm too young to gamble like an idiot. Too young? Or too old? Usually it's young people gambling like idiots. I'm too young to gamble like an idiot when I could just buy Bitcoin and be fine in 5 to 10 years. Very true. Very true. If you can buy Bitcoin at the 200-week moving average at 50K, generational wealth is guaranteed for you, my friend, if you can buy a Bitcoin or two. That should be everyone's goal, is to buy a Bitcoin or two when it pulls back to the 50-week moving average. If you can buy more than that, then great. But 1 or 2 Bitcoins should be guaranteeing your retirement. Yeah, the sooner people realize that we're in a bear market, the better. You know, everyone's going to realize at some point. Some people will realize earlier than others. Some people will realize later than others. But everyone will realize at some point. And the funny thing is, the people who don't realize that we're in a bear market, they realize usually at the bottom. So the people who are still bullish now, they'll flip bearish at the bottom. That's typically what happens. Where do I see Bitcoin going? I see it going to its 200-week moving average, which is currently, as we sit right now, at $55,000. It's creeping up. So maybe by the time we get there, it's at 65, 69K, something like that. Who knows? But I see it pulling back to its 200-week moving average. And for anyone who's wondering how you find that, you go onto TradingView, tradingview.com, go to indicators, just type in SMA, that's simple moving average, not EMA. That's your exponential. You want a simple moving average. You can see here, moving average simple. You want to give that a star just so you remember it. Click on that, and it should come up on your left-hand side. Then go to settings, length, and then you want to type in 200. If you want your 50-week moving average, you type 50. If you want your 200, you type 200. If you want your 100, that's another one some people use. Well, you can see we're actually on our 100 moving average right now. And when you lose that, that's when you really start seeing the real crashes. When you lose your 100, you can see we lost that at 36K. That's when we came all the way down to 15. So when you lose your 100, that's when the real shit starts hitting the fan. And as we speak right now, we're actually in the process of losing it. 74K, then rally back to 105. I think we hit 74 and maybe we bounce the first time. Who knows how high we'll go? Maybe to 90K, maybe to 100K. And then I think we go down and then we lose it. That's probably what's going to happen. We should get a bounce as we hit 74 the first time. That might be a good short-term long opportunity, but I don't know if it's going to be the actual bottom. Ethereum hit 1.3K when Bitcoin was at 74K, so it's possible it does it again for sure. It hit 1.3 in April, so it's very possible it can go and do it again. And if we look at the S&P 500, it looks like it can come down a lot more. The S&P likes to revert back to its previous all-time highs, and right now it's barely even done that yet. You've got a sell signal on the Prime oscillator. By the way, Chart Prime are going to be doing a big Black Friday sale. So if you use my link down below, you'll be able to get that discount with an added promo, I believe. But yeah, the S&P 500 typically comes back to its prior all-time highs. It also likes to mean revert to its 50, is it moving average? Let's see. Yeah, 50 moving average. So the S&P 500's 50 moving average is currently sat at the same point as the prior all-time high. So I think there's a very strong probability that the S&P 500 rolls over here and comes down to around the 6,100 range and kind of flips its previous resistance into support. And then hopefully we can get a bounce into 2026 when we get some of these positive catalysts. That is my current thesis. That is my current base case, is that the S&P rolls down to here. I've actually got some limit orders set for the S&P 500. I've not been an S&P 500 holder before. But I'm getting to a point where, I've made some decent money, and I want to preserve a little percentage of my capital and put it into something very safe. So I've actually set some limit orders here on the S&P 500 for its prior all-time high. If it loses that, then we'll probably come into the tariff crash lows, which would be pretty devastating for the crypto market. I think if the S&P 500 comes back down to 4,800, Bitcoin's probably headed for well below 50K. But time's going to tell. We're reactive to the levels. We're not too predictive. It's good to have these ideas in mind and predict what you think might happen, but price predictions very rarely come into place. It's much better to go off the actual levels on the chart than some arbitrary price predictions. And if you look at my price predictions, I gave rough targets. A lot of them didn't get hit, but my invalidation got hit, so I sold. Because I've always said to you guys, these arbitrary price predictions, you take them with a grain of salt. You put more emphasis on your invalidation point and how the overall market is than these specific individual targets for individual altcoins. This is a massive opportunity. Massive opportunity, and I'm very, very thankful that the market has allowed us to have this. Very grateful, because they're giving you a discount on the number one commodity in the world, which is Bitcoin. And you should be very, very, very grateful for that, because people in the future, years down the line, are going to wish they could buy Bitcoin in the 50K region. And I think we're going to get the opportunity to do that at some point next year. So appreciate all of you tuning in. Make sure to check out the sale I currently, or not I, the sale Blowfin currently have. Sale. Why did I say sale? Promo. Why am I calling it a sale? The promo that Blowfin have, you can get up to $10,000 in bonuses if you trade using Blowfin, using my link down below. Make sure it's my link, because it won't work if it's not. And there's various rewards you can get. There's a prize pool based off how much you trade. And besides that, it's the exchange I personally trade on. It's a very nice, user-friendly exchange. There's a good user interface. And it's very easy. So it's the good thing about Blowfin as well is it's non-KYC. So you can use it anywhere in the world with a VPN, and they're not going to restrict your usage of it because it's non-KYC. Definitely join in your group next cycle. Why would you wait until next cycle when there's going to be plenty of opportunities to make money in the next few weeks, shorting the market? So, see, guys, I'm very glad I closed out my trade here in profits, because we are getting a bit of a bounce here. So very glad that I closed my short when I did. We're getting a bit of a bounce. And if you want to copy trade me in real time, you just put your money in the account on Blowfin, set it and forget it type of thing. I strongly recommend you get on the big bundle. You can copy trade me in real time. It's all synced automatically. Whatever percentage of my portfolio I put on a trade, it's synced up to yours. So if I put, let's say I have $10,000 in my account, if I put $5,000 in the trade, but you only have $1,000 in your account, then that would put $500 in the trade for you. So it's just proportionate. So I recommend the big bundle. That gives you copy trading access. It also gives you lifetime mentorship. So you're in my VIP group for life, and you have private one-to-one messaging for life. I'm really undercutting myself with this, because it's a lifetime package. And I also recommend the VIP if you want to join the most active crypto community out there. I just posted out a trade alert. I just entered a trade about an hour ago, and I posted that in the VIP. It's a short position, so take a look at that if you're interested. What would I rate this cycle out of 10? A 4. I mean, I've made great money. I've made, millions of dollars, so I'm happy with that. But in terms of the actual cycle as a whole, I don't think it was very good. But we still made good gains, which is the important part. I still made 10 to 100 X's. As bad as it's been, I've still made 10 to 100 X's this bull run. Three weeks ago, I said many alts bottomed out. It looked like they did 3 weeks ago, or whenever that was. But my invalidation got hit, so they didn't. That's why I stuck to my invalidation point. Things did look bottomed out, because if you guys remember, right, we came down, we fell below the Gaussian channel on the 50-week moving average, and then we got a bounce and we closed above it. That was a good sign. So things did look bullish then, but very quickly things took a turn for the worse, and then we actually closed below it. If you still held alts after closing below the Gaussian channel, you're not protecting yourself. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to be in the Discord for the rest of the day talking to the members. That's my current crypto portfolio on the screen right now. If I make any amendments, any adjustments to it, I'll be updating the VIP members in real time. But for now, I'm sitting in cash, and I sold my crypto portfolio on November 17th based off the weekly close below the Gaussian channel. And I'm very, very glad I did that because I would be down probably another 30 or 40% since that date. So check out the group. It's active all the time. I'll see you